Hi there. So I want to give some feedback from a mum that's taken the online course or Colic solution, and in there's a section on allergy in the baby, and she'd emailed to say, thanks so much for this section, and of course I helped her some more. So she's on her third baby, who is very, very allergic, and the mum is on a really strict diet. She's seen a dietitian. She's off of milk, eggs, soya, wheat, the whole lot. She's actually doing really well and finding the eating okay actually. And her baby's skin is a lot better. Her second baby had had a lot of allergies, and her first not so, but this third was being the trickiest. And when you're on your third baby, you kind of think you can handle babies nicely. So it's a surprise when they're the hardest one. So in discussing a bit more about the babies, the baby's poos were still very, very frequent and watery. Now they had been awful. So there was a definite big allergy going on there. Very mucousy, very smelly, horrible stuff. The baby's skin was awful. So a kind of obvious indicator of the allergy. And bear in mind, the mum is breastfeeding, so this is the foods that the mum eating, getting through to the baby, and the baby's so much better, so we know from that that the foods were having an effect. However, tummy still not good. And this is what was super interesting to me. The baby's delivery was good. There wasn't really much I could kind of find in there to think, oh, why is this baby so allergic? So the baby hadn't had any antibiotics. So no C-section, no antibiotics. She was actually going to have a C-section, but the baby came sooner, so had the natural delivery. So everything seemed pretty good. However, we've got this history of allergy in the other babies. The mum thought there was a genetic history in there, so she was blaming herself to some degree about having genetically passed this history of allergy. So in the discussion, I was saying that what I find, which is super interesting, is that rather than the genetics, you can be passing your gut bacteria, and the baby's gut bacteria comes from the mum's gut bacteria when you're breastfeeding. So I was querying whether this could be an issue here, but the mum hadn't had antibiotics with this baby either. So I then say, okay, mum, what's your digestion like? And it wasn't good. So the actual bacteria in the mum's gut gets to the breast milk and then to the baby. So if your digestion is not great, for example, IBS, then the science shows that your gut bacteria isn't so good. Therefore, you may be not passing so good gut bacteria to your baby, which triggers colic and allergy. So I asked mum if she had had antibiotics in pregnancy, because the research shows that can affect the baby and trigger colic and allergies as well. Well, she hadn't. Then she says, but I have had tons of antibiotics. She can't even remember how many she's had through her life, but she's had recurrent ear infections, sinus infections, all of this kind of stuff. And she says, tons. Can't even count, can't even give you an idea of how many I've had that many. This happened before all of her children, before the 3 children. So isn't that interesting that she's had all that antibiotic exposure, which affects her tummy bacteria, and then subsequently she'd had these very allergy babies, particularly 2, had had real trouble. So the eczema, the horrible poos, the reflux, and then she's had to be careful and go on to formulas from the GP. So she got all of these allergy babies when there isn't the biggest reason for that. But of course, no mums particularly think of this. How many antibiotics have I had before, years before, to upset the tummy bacteria in the mum so it doesn't pass on? Okay, so this sounds not the best news and a bit harsh, but it's better than genetically really because that is there, and that's being passed to babies. But this gut bacteria stuff, you can help that, and that was in the course, and this is why she's so happy, because you improve your mum's gut bacteria and the baby's. You improve the mum so she passes through the breast milk better stuff. You improve the baby so the baby gets better. Then with this knowledge, you know, for example, if you were having another baby, she's probably not having 4. But if you have another baby, then you get your gut bacteria good during pregnancy. So it's all there and ready to go for your next baby. So I think this is a great story, and it's all covered. I'll cover all of this in the this online solution that I have, which includes all of the help I give, apart from the hands-on treatment that I do with babies, but it's got everything else in there. So yeah, leave some comments, subscribe obviously. There's loads of videos over my YouTube channel, and check out this online course that I've produced. It can help your baby, and I will help you also personally through that course. Okay, and I hope this helps and you found it interesting. Thank you.